And Memenda 4th September 2021 in the year of our Lord. Yamamunina chain and Kwaba beauty so critical issue and I no pay a day bremone. Yabajin some who here see a journey home and somewhere a cow mano and somewhere as I see to be journey hona a bin for a woman dieno or the one drink to see but said the baby to me about a man near be a edgy go no. Yet you man also Regina, Nanya and Yano sono, yet you me a managing hoping tea. I'm an engineer account and a bear, or mino a bit to me according to it's your mamma chain. Now, make Camo said, yes, social media had the Saudi Ninano, Jumedi, a tregu her life, Uko Facebooker, ye tregu her life, into comment and no suggestion in Nano, obey to me for their bar. There are one who now also say a can't bet to me a buano. What topics how they be discussing on now so dear, but I can't kind not a been for them before Baba Betsani and Roma for one general. One song to me do I drink Paul and Nimo. I hold a woman to say bet to me a buano. One more day a banaka caracadina, baby I will be on yet to me a bois, ama Jumedino Aconavia from Jesu. Now I come and a manga and so far to my pa Efra. Midin at the Agya Kwabena, Metinamo, am at the Vim lady, a fear Pukua. Now, and none of pay Jumedia Baby Dieno. You didn't come out drop a bray, and near come about Kwabena F free senior high school home. Challenges how do I walk and I finance a baby toja, say Oko and Quadan schools how do no more. And Quadan Yadriani, Adriania short so. I want some baby not general secretary and I can't samono. Now bro career yano, Ministry of Education and I came for Ghana Education Service and so at the about HSA. San Samoa, one more air cannon, no create bien, a san say. One more boss who will be doing specifically a bit separate sec, almost so Modiane Asa. I must swap for share who may show some Sankasa call, but one much so quiet na Adriane ewo ho. Aso na sa na tiampa ana se bia na ntisa. Ebinum chesa chese for no esuro so mbekasa. Esanse so koka na yehunehunu na yetatawo. Ayesa na tiampa na. Enu nti ye ne akyerɛkyerɛ fo mpanimfo eye wo mo ada school so do na no wo mukuo eye chance wo mukuo ye ne wo madi nkomo ye ne twetwerɛ fo pani oda ma no owura kwame wusu adiomi ebedi nkomo afasase ho na bisa sanye bia in semi set sano e koso school so do no mu na ye beka no true or false na afio de chichimo ba na fa no achi no ye so afa be de chwohwe humation samson so ne beka no fi ha na fi pertinent issues and the questions say bisa no ye tumi abisa no na critical ones no say meka no na fi ye nyina so tumi agimuaye afi ne nchen say na be ya ya adwene mu enkoye kesere ne sam beka ye a ebe beto dwasa nkwada no ebe ma kwan ye 15th of this month na kabusumi de to so edunum and mama kwansin and na beto dwasa 28th of August ye busumi twe de to so edunu nwotwe na nkwada no ema kwan pofirimu ade nti na ba sa ye baby sasa questions no esanse ye pamuaye e de afiri womo a wo ye de tumi ne ahyomonsa no eho enti no so se enadwumadi e babedie no eyade a efa ye ho efa ye ma ho efa ye nanano mo efa generation to come no efa ye nyina ye ho se na be betumi aboa ma no ehomasuan so e betumi akonanim enti eno achi so no CDD e de report bi by na CDD kire se wo ma ye hwehwemu na hwehwemu etodwa no e kire se Ghana ha uche yemu a ha mu chemo aduosiam ye no 62%. So omo pa mo ni omo nyini saban ebetumi akwenti akatahye ne proye. Omo nyini Ghana fo ha mu chemo aduosiam ye no 62% na e kasa. Se enya de a omo gidi se omo gidie waban mu se obetumi akwenti akatahye na fe proye. Na CDD report omo de bae no sunsunsanso no etisen ye bedi ho komo papa. Afei enyuma hudo a ewo amanga na mu a yaye na yegyan na sei so baka ya mampenda da jeje wo hyase ye bi Sakumono estate otunidin affordable rewure mu a pampenda da je kufo bai jo yeye no yehuni edan ni nyina kan wiram ebepim na me no kasai mampenda da mas kwade mampenda da mahama enso de bi hye so sagreme eno so bi no kasai anwen ne se ene go ene epro ene machine suwum ene niema wum na ana se niema e de betumi amade pa ho hia no wum ene niema no ese ye koyi blocks ahodo amampenda da mahama ne edi sama yekodisi ye so a eno so ebi wo ho na hospitals ahodo no so eno so yesi bi ye bi ebi so wo ho ebi wa machines gum da machines ne sei go source ahodo a ya ye na ebetumi aboa sa so beka ya UCC for campus kesi bi ewo Gomua side ha baby yes si dan ni na wie na air condition hyemu bibia wom na hwafu na air condition no pro saa niamba we a ye a yentumi nwie na de obeba no ento aso no me ne wa ye de yeto na eye no nsunsuaso ben na nya awo yeso nti we ni nsama wodo bebre na dibdifo no beba ama ye de ho komo eti se de me di kan ye no wo so ehia waje nkire ene osusuye ene wasamisa obetumi e de fa Facebook wall na wo de afa ho aba eba agye bre na makenkan na bi sampanyfo so de ama ano ibi ohobia no yensa betumi aka nansa na yebekọ ama no so ne yedi nkomo no ene daily guide de nsem bia ba na daily guide kire se wo call prison na se eneduafo bi entokwasi omuntam aba ba kwa adwo ba ko tohwe pa anyasem kuma kra wawe wachiw wakeka pasa eya sama wo ha wotu mu se ano ahyiye pa na ese an robbers bi so akọbọ krono ma omanya AK47 de adwane eya ehu ha enti sasem yasem bi ehu hia ye pa se ehwe na no so ye pa no pomase bre pa one teacher one laptop and also ye de ahyehye so amom che se 80,000 laptops available eno ewa ha eno yasamba konso a ewa ha na nra Ghana Black Stars e di kunim ye she Ethiopia 1-0 na so ball na mo boy na kasa no so tumi hwe bi ekoyie ma ode we ni ye de kwakwaje AFCON no anyway ye hwe se bia ebre koso no nsakra bi tumi aba nra Ethiopia fo no se enye nyakopon ne di enwa fofi a ankomote kana ma ye pasapa na mirror spectator de asem bia ba wana be kai pa pete ye wa kurase no bola bia pete woso bola bia pete woso be ba no pete ni bebre na se ohun pete bi hu bia che na mo kire se me ye kum pete ese pete aye natural tankers for pete aye natural zoom lion for enti ma fia egu bola so ne me ahodo anka betu ama yare no pete be sisa no adi no de abo me no mi no ho ban enti hu pete a onye be fo menku no ate jano no nye sa djuma na mo sa onyu djuma ne akopon de man so me asase so eno no na Ghanaian Times so e ka sam kro na one teacher one laptop project no and also ewa ha na mchi say teachers about 320,000 na ebenya saa enhihye yi so emfaso eno ewo ho na the obokrata the daily graphic so kire say mfia aduasa de 30 years ni nipa aka kwanhye ku omo ewo mangana mu no eye 50,583 nipa 50,583 na 30 years abesi ku no ka kwanhia ekumomo ewo mangana mu na okra bisu se be buru sawo esan se as bosome nan na edikan wa fi mu no na nipa be buru apem ani ahanu na ka ekumomo the first 4 months 3 months I think 3 months na 4 months bisa first 4 months I was 3 months me read specific in months no but na nipa over 1,200 na wu ka kwanhia ho e bisa se so ye be kwa de se ya akokosi awieye ana ede na betumi ande de sia akwanhia hodo nyina no ede na ebe de aboa se de be ya nipa ewuo bebrebe ogana ha wo mu edi dem enya sem kuma no ye betumi ahwe na yesia no enti ene eye packed program na ye de brewa se na medical kan no osusue ne wadwempo ebia no obetumi ede fa Facebook wall na se eba ye begibre na yakenkan ni nyina mako ade amamu se de be ya ye nyina wonsum na yetumi akyekere manka na yakọ ahom na yakọ amano so ana yo ene na yansa na ye beto aso no moma yenkoje enkrato tiawa se ye ba ye ne charge for obedi nkomo na fe de ohobia no wo mu atumi di chichimu na ba na fe ne so afa be de chira ohwe huma so nsam so e de ba nti wo ya wo fa na so wo hwem sabre a tina TV no ho na questions be so bi sabia no wo de about senior high school chi share ne ma hodo ekoso no ho na fe ye nyire tumi aboa ama ma na kwada nim ti etwa homra sisi ya Agya yakoto nkra yaba afebra so se yedi nkomo kwa kire yi pa na homehwa wonsam so na ye be hya se de free na ye nyina nim se free sini ha ba ye no ye wo de amanfo akafa ho ne de ekọ ne de ba nyina na se de ekoso wo maga na mu di titru efa free sini high school ho eno eye enuane ho nsam ase akọ ahwe kakra na fe no achi nso no nkwada no da bre ne nema hodo ba ko minu miensa bi ene ho nsam bibiri na enche ye my sofa be the social man so ahusam so na di nkomo amanaje pene so beba deputy minister of education age pene so beba am ye di nkomo nti ye twen no obe nde bekasa nansana no ye komra se bedwa mu abedwaku a ehwe humasu ahusam so no ba company ba koda kan mo ho ye Eko Vincent Asifua enka na ye kasamafo de ma so ye hwe humasu ahusam so ehwa homa no so nti ye behwe as parliament our na our oversight committee take responsibility on education as for no ye hwe say niam ben na omo consensus ahodo a teachers ankorankore ene amanfo raise efa school no nuane ne niam ahodo ho no committee no ehoden na de no mo so mo ye de afa ho eko ye ma wachi eba critical issues so
Josoja wapumwe
ye ho ye pa na ye bisasa parliament committee a hwe humasu nsam so no anye bia manya reports ahodo bi makorans akwakohwe se free senior high school policy no kosen
jama menchia ye watifo nyina menchia ye outa for constituency for so wadaroma sade mashebedwa mo hye ete no yedikan akọ first meeting and yasa akọ second meeting na second meeting no iwi no in Agya tudwa say the 19th of October and you be resume the third meeting of the 8th Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. Na said the Parliament in so say Parliament recess sometimes the committees also work because Parliament in no said a committee work and the floor of Parliament in so Juma. Just a Juma and Juma dino on the floor of Parliament and a committees in so ADA. Na said the OCT Chimuno, name a member of the Education Select Committee. Na a Parliament call recess. The first thing the Select Committee on Education, technical vocational education and training institutions are what Ghana have to do no use na watching me no and 2.5 weeks and all the members of the committee across the country visit share said technical vocational education training or more than ever. Na we share shortages of food as alleged from other schools and also from NATNE, other stakeholders like Kanwa. My checks this morning clearly showed there have not been any official complaint to the Select Committee of Education, and my checks definitely the leadership. And unfortunately, we have not received such complaints on our desk. However, because the Education Select Committee award the supervisory and also the oversight responsibility over the actions and inactions of the Ministry of Education, in Tentemnoa, Medical Yemi Chairman Asu said this is what is happening. Don't you know your best friend, the Ministry of Education for na ye timu sem no ye ni hu say sem no ayekoso no say ye no kre. But for us at the Education Committee, we have not received any official complaint.
O ka say no kan bibi kan say o check se kire say somewhere tete sa no complaint bi anhyada ma sa na say bibi what tete sa no anhyada eni ho checks ni fit schools no ho ana say GS4 na o check it free.
No, checks no me ye no as a member of the Education Select Committee through my leadership, which is the chairman and the vice chairman, Chairman Asiama and Dr. Prince Ama, who is the vice chairperson. And here we say, has there been an official petition and as a complaint to the Select Committee on Education? Because it's a complaint in about a mame as a member. I can only be informed about it, but the complaint will definitely go to the clerk of the committee and I say the chairman or the vice chairman of the committee. So if they have not been such complainter, a bad thing for you to act over it. When it becomes a public matter, the Select Committee on Education can take personal interest over it. Now, you invoke your jurisdiction and also the powers that has been given to us to subpoena people and also stakeholders are involved as conferred to it by the Constitution, as the standing orders of Parliament, and also clothe ourselves with the powers of High Court. But Agya, no quick woman said, a man I remember Ministry of Education, and she said, "I year with respect to in Yamisem, not Yachimu Minu. You were the centrally procured." And locally procured. Centrally procured in the the Ministry of Education, contractors and asset suppliers through the national buffer stock. Now, Omono a supply non-perishable goods. And Yania and say to say a brew. To say a more and then you are can also na no national buffer stock a supply no centrally at the amount. Then these suppliers are paid centrally by the government and as a Ministry of Education, or better still, national buffer stock. If you procure no domestically, domestic procurement, perishable goods. So say niania, to me say and tell. Until no the autogu and ye, untimi gaswa to tomatoes a go. Until you a national buffer stock and as a Ministry of Education for suppliers and young fat tomatoes in Megua. Achana outri me never say. Untino, ye ma sukusuno, sika, come the bomb hompra. Na say sikano, I don't know what the talk. Perishable goods, to say tomatoes, meko, and I say toast, meko, nyadoane no meka honsano. And at that level, it is the responsibility of the headmaster and master stores, to procure sanomano for the school. Now, unless, of course, stay schools, and I say headmaster are complaining to the Ghana Education Service, national buffer stock from Kofua, or my form of suppliers, or more than neighbor schools, or multi for any which will be very surprising, and it will be a breach of contract because you found a supplier normally need the biana, you tiaoka, and son of supply normal. When you are tendering, sometimes they ask you of your credit worthiness to be able to supply some of these goods on credit. It is part of the contract. And so I am not anticipating any kind of explanation. And also, Bibi Tricks will say, buying Tiana supply. I am resisting, or I am not anticipating that kind of explanation from anybody. Because Sabai no amount have contract, the amount contract is oversupply. Now, question I will see Busane say suppliers no a supply no and answer amount supply no. And that is a question that can only be answered by the suppliers themselves and a more modest school, which is headmasters and headmistresses. Now, Agya, Meja kwan a follow presec issue no. Now the Facebook post that I saw on Facebook, Dr. Yawoseduchu, editor one say, on one kasa embarked on an unannounced visit. He embarked on an unannounced visit. Just a visitor, one can't just suku pagini bia, anase suku ni bia. Say, sada you made ne ba presec wo no ma betwetwe komo. Now he went there at the time one omo prep ekoso just mra omo di sua de anyumre. The engagement that he had with the students didn't suggest and answer and just say me man omo school no omo didi. It didn't suggest so because I am tempted to believe the Minister of Education and an official poster on one their Facebook post. I have no doubt to disbelieve, and I said to doubt. Yes, someone. Yeah, the Honorable Dr. Yawoseduchu at the Facebook post suggesting clearly, say there is no iota of truth, and I said no Caribbean nim say Yemranti and Babawana almost to cool so. Especially when you used presec as a case study. Ebiu Agya Kwabena Musa say your headmasters and as a headmistress no almost cool hono. Tika was here the pre omo de bomb buying with respect to perishable goods no. Says ikano eko and answer enko. Are they able to buy them or they are not able to buy them?
Now, as your position, sir, select committee member, parliament on education, no, Sikano Echo.
The minimum NSA, Bayer Busume Bako, and I'm in Wechi. We engaged them. I think so the next day, they gave us evidence. So much years it can be because in fact it was published in dailies. Was a car a Jamadaroma me phone 1% in the catcher prince Nanema.
Yenya no ahoma article na yebo modern say between ya PR Minister of Education na yetumi edi sasemu ho enkomo pa nti yenhye no so asem no ayasem hia esanse nkwada no ho masua ne nkwada ne dache wasem na yeka nkwada no ho asem ne ka nti ekọ ahoma na atiko na so enche bia no yebenya kosi kwaten ono no ye bedwon kasama for the master ya ehwe ehumasua ho sam so wo man mu ebenya na ofie ha na yene na adi nkomo na yetumi ahwese de yebetumi ya na fa nti eno no nti wo so sera medi kankan no wo so betum the comment ene we ya fa Facebook wall abeba bejibre na ya kenkan nyina bibiri na wa hanti ebra ye hwe kwansensa betumi aka eka obi uma ya toa yenkomodi eso no yen hwe de amode aba ne bi Agya Roberta Mrs. OKFM say as a country if we politicize everything how can we develop our nation? Desmond Tachi also good morning Agya Kwabena. The CDD report didn't come out with the fact that Ghanaians want NDC back to govern, but still love NPP. This clearly indicates that His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is fixing the country through his able Agric Minister Ekuafo-Addo for Honorable Dr. Usu Efriye Akuto, whose sector has contributed about 48% to one district, one factory policy. He has also revived farm modernization centers, which has provided the basis for supporting farmers in mechanizing their farm operation. Again, the infatigable Agric Minister has been to enroll a 103-year-old cocoa farmer for the first time pension scheme. Okay, no. Agric Minister wants some no kind of baby no. Carry Same Chei and as a quay, who didn't quay and as a chei, and the macabre first also maybe pacho was say NDC the natural opposers is no wonder opposing the establishment of Development Bank of Ghana, just as they opposed free senior high school, national health insurance, school feeding program, virtually anything good for Ghanaians, NDC will oppose it. Regards to Honorable Mavis Hawa Kumsin. Kwaku Nyakon or Sinanado Dan Kwaku Fado is working too much for Ghana. I know very soon he will make Ghana develop like USA or Canada. Still MPP the best than NDC. Walanyo ewa kwetia or say the government must delve into the CDD survey and act accordingly because CDD may not be far from the truth if the government surely tend to break the 8-year cycle. Munkaila Jonas say at the Munkaila Jonas at the year inside Kerry or say I've always maintained that Ghanaians, especially teachers, need to always support the MPP in all situations and circumstances because he has always managed to restore or promulgate any initiative abandoned by the incompetent ones. NDC and the Mahama Council Teacher Training Nurses Alawa by restored it. Free Senior High School, Mahama entrusted this laptop initiative into Professor Nana Jinopu Kwajimai, which anyway, trying to things I can I be had any book. Don Luis GH or say good morning. Achuma Kwawoma constituency or say one more one mayimu ansa 2017 ebaye no wom hu sene mapenda da mahama ne nkrofo so mayi o mayi pasa dum so katasha ne police kedie na wom de embargo eso eto se yemfa emanfo djuma na wom tumi ntua djuma yefo ka na tese teacher ni allowance awdo nyina kanse ni nyina na so amfa se covid ba yi mapenda nado wahwe kwan se wo bi biara ho beto no wo manga na mu a enya se kuma kranti ma ne NDC de enya de obaba Ghana bi obaba benjwa su bi oda piaga good morning Agya Kwabena good morning piaga or say his excellency Nana Dan Kwaku Fado is fixing the country well me that say all right yen kwa mano so na yen kwotro yen komo no so ekwa wasan ba homa no so bi ekwa na ye kasa na so wa homa no ai bibi ntie o
yeah Agya Kwabena mo pancha me adaroma no mo kusana na me me phone was 1%. Said na me chechi mo no the kwe wo mo ni say at the level of the committee we know that the Ministry of Education with respect to the payments any the yans you who know the uboka temu any more more engagement and more when it's published the newspapers clearly showed that those monies have been paid to a yesu schools no na Agya Kwabena ye mesre ene se ya church for your headmasters ye mpanyin for omoda ye schools na no se bibi say ekoso I am not saying say ekoso but in the instance when we have some of these things happening in our schools and you must do this tenkem no ano omobeyi eye Ghana Education Service for asutri said ye beya the Ghana Education Service will trigger one, either an investigation to it to ascertain the veracity of the claim. So indeed, there are shortages of food on our various campuses. In the absence of that, not the Ghana Education Service for the métier, say no cre and say Ghana Education Service for so omunya complaint to be a free a year. Then of course the Ghana Education Service will be reluctant or may not have the wherewithal somebody to me and the back will have to stop with the headmasters and as such a chef for those schools that are being alleged there in any schools.
Hello.
Yeah.
Na ya fear aduane no nsam so na ya mransam foforo ya hwe ba ko mienu miensa bi. Na as committee no ye nyane tie sen kwada no one common quine 15th of September. And now fe ye ti an say you ma frɛ yen say ye mefa ye ma 28 August. Anya bia committee no munya ho ntie bi, munya ho popoye bi, reasons ntia sa mpofiri mu akwa ma ne baye.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, such notices no members of the committee. It is possible that level of the leadership, leadership are communicating to Ministry of Education and as some engagement also through the leadership of the committee and the Ministry of Education. But because of the impact of COVID-19, it distracted the calendar of our various schools. And she said, now may work Ministry of Education in 2018, the year with respect to the calendar of the double track. If all things being equal, the terrorist parables, and yes, sir, the impact of COVID ebaya, and I am not sure we'll be having the challenges that we are facing. We cannot have any argument. And now saying to me, with respect to the calendar, and I say without recourse to a year COVID-19 and this impact, because all our calendar, being it primary schools, kindergarten, junior high school, senior high school, universities, the calendar is distorted. And I am sure, sir, the Ghana Education Service will go through some challenges with respect to how I able to just say, and that's somebody to just say no, and that's a calendar. So that they are how we are farmer. We are pleading with the people of Ghana. Said they should bear with the abrupt challenges with respect to calendar noir. Ghana Education Service, nobody able to get say Busumi way first year for Bako, Busumi di enemy, second year for Babefie, Busumi di enemy, third year for Bako, Namako Bomb, said they be able to get trouble. And I am sure said we need a short lived within the shortest possible time, no, they back to normal. So the Ghana Education Service responsibility to me as a calendar, the additional phone.
How would a free senior high school and I said, Kwade school more a woman back home and even syllabus and Kwade at the bay a church for the bachelor. As we speak, textbooks on Crano and Yadia be to me a course that I say corner and now for syllabus on also for Frono, they say fancy and fan to answer, name you so that no. A ban say, and confusing Quadano and Yacha for the Inama. What more for team pimpim? As I said, let's say what can I say, and hard
yeah, members of the Select Committee of Education. You know, publication way, our social media and online portal. I remember an engagement that we have with the Ministry of Education. My Ministry of Education, my associate said, and you know, Edda, say Ghana Education Service, at Romanum to say the syllabus and I said the curriculum Ghana Education Service through the National Council for Curriculum Assessment, National Curriculum for Council Assessment, Eddie Betruja, Eddie Mujuma for so many years, and Sana Eba. Young fan Tonchain, Sadiano and Yanokre, Young Kamagana for something. That the curriculum is still in force and they are much aware. They will share the budgetary, and after the budget statement, Finance Minister Abekai this year, our Parliament. We indicated, say, the common core program, that is CCP, junior high school, no, so the common core program now, and only the curriculum. Yet developing at the junior high school level. Don't forget, see the kind of new curriculum at the primary school at the Canberra, and we promised a continuation from the primary school to the junior high school and subsequent to senior high school. And the anticipation of the Ghana Education Service was that this year you best start the common core program at junior high schools. Now, with respect to textbooks, Agya Kwabena, I have been making this argument day in and day out that my experience at the Ministry of Education doesn't suggest to me say chinchinia textbooks are absolutely essential before education can happen. And I say between in our various schools. And yet absolutely essential. And who here say in your textbooks say ba and your bonnet. No, and also interested the textbooks in Niva. Sabi,
I didn't see the textbooks in your farm. I say, ye more your hunting a yen to me from my yeno, and I say, Sikasam, and I dare Nintina, yen to me from Mantem.
And yes, Ghana Education Service, as Sudi, say about publishing textbooks. That lies within the ambit of the publishers. The Ghana Education Service, through NACA, which is the National Council for Curriculum Assessment, say they will approve the content of the textbooks. Then, after the approval, which I am quite sure that the NACA and the Ghana Education Service has approved a number of content for various publishers, also multiple publishers, to the market. And this Ghana Education Service, and I said NACA, almost legally clothed responsibility with the approval area, then it lies within the purview of the publishers to make sure say almost a publisher be that as it may. Ghana Education Service provided BBS resource packs at the various schools. Now, Teacher Nibia, from what I'm told, was given a copy of the resource pack. The indication that I get, and I say, the resource packs, is not exactly akin to a textbook, but it is enough to give proper overview as to how the new curriculum is supposed to be implemented. Resource packs near the man at a follow. And yet textbooks. The resource packs were crafted in such a way that it is not exactly akin to textbooks anyway, but it was crafted in such a way that the content, not the usage, a bit to me, has served the purpose of a textbook in the absence of a textbook. And I checked following across the country. At the time, when Ghana Education Service, training, gave every teacher a resource pack to be able to implement the new curriculum. Having said that, the Ghana Education Service, the National Council for Curriculum Assessment, and in Penyufua, almost to ensure the implementation and the clear continuance of the curriculum to ensure that yes, curriculum is not textbooks are not absolutely essential with respect to education there. Primary school, junior high school. There were times I almost and or class teacher textbook back. What was the purpose? The purpose was that it was supposed to serve as a guide to So there is some amount of importance that is attached to textbooks. And say the Ghana Education Service and NACA and when you took one among said the textbooks are man tell them about what they're supposed to be using, and the publishers themselves are supposed to be using, that textbooks in the Yako. Now, serve the purpose to which we review the curriculum. Because, we review curriculum, we had a vision, we had a focus. And this was work with the review of the curriculum was to make sure, say, that disconnect a woman with respect to Nipa, you be churning out from our various schools. Any a Juma Omokwa that is the disconnect between what employers needed and what we were actually producing. employers here a certain kind of refined people are to me in the industry. Yet nipa na ye fa omo anase nipa na omo free various schools about the world of work, was not what employers needed. It was on that basis say then we need to review the curriculum. So if the curriculum is not implemented in its entirety, it will defeat the purposes for which we review the curriculum, i.e., bridging the gap and also the disconnect between the world of work and what was actually being taught in our various schools. If you remember, you will say what is being taught in our various teacher trainings here, because we review a year curriculum at the basic level. Now we review no one of the barber chest idea no. At the one of the barber chest idea no. That is how come the Ministry of Education in 2018, 2019 initially reviewed the curriculum at the teacher training level, because the teacher ni all quantity here. You have to tell us about there. That's a curriculum our the barber chest idea no. Meanwhile, we have reviewed the curriculum. It is going to be very difficult for you to implement that. And so the review at the teacher training also was a clear indication that we needed to ensure a proper implementation of the curriculum that we have reviewed and the common core programmer, yes, and check. So the junior high schools will also be able to use that curriculum. And the Bompire say and check. The textbooks will be available for our various schools to be able to use it.
Eko ye kan nyina no enkwada no I see a do muwura mu bi say ye hwe enkwada congestion in schools eno so ye one thing na ebia betumi aka ho asem kakre san say according to ebia information bi ebia epie ne nam momontin so no enkwada wo mo ye green track for no eko enti form 1 for na wo no say green track for no koka ho na form 3 for no ka ho a ebema congestion no aye too much eno nti ene ka say form 1 for no emrefie eno no etisan infrastructure wise no ye boy homodin wo ho.
So I just Kwabena am say YouTube for crowd there emra na me wo umasua so ye no somewhere 2019 2020 me said that ebejemre about 35 to 40 minutes I was one of the so and I took my time to explain and I'm showcasing the kind of improvement the Ministry of Education ensures with respect to the infrastructure deficits. Now, over the jet fund, a year securitization be about 1.5 billion. Now, that 1.5 billion dollars, it was supposed to be paid for a period of 7 years. Now, I will use Old Trafford constituency as an example. With respect to the expansion of infrastructure at various senior high schools, and now over Old Trafford constituency, one of the biggest schools that you can have in Ashanti region is situated in my constituency, Osechiche Senior High School. Now, within the period from 2017 to 2020, Oba Osechiche Senior High School out the door no Kesa. Ube said the needs assessment that we did through the regional education offices and through the district education offices showed clearly say there are some schools are able to me after more students. The ABA you could see assembly block because clearly you won't say school do more than can pick 1,000 students. Dormitories can also pick 1,000 students, but assembly block can pick only 500. What it means is that there will be a certain kind of deficit with respect to the full curriculum and extra curriculum I also school. In the same crown, but in the baby at the number of classes as well. It drew time on the assembly and I said any other activity local school, I'll be used to assembly block now and to be found for that. So based on the needs assessment, Suku and who here see the dining hall, schools are now basic dormitories, schools are now basic classrooms, schools are now basic administration block. The Ghana Education Service did all those needs assessments, and the Ministry of Education gave approvals and gave contracts to the effect of expanding infrastructure. And to go say senior high school, there's an expansion of a 12-unit classroom block. Okay. There's a library in Swa, yes, you are. There are dormitories in Swa. Yes, you are. Say senior high schools. Now, free. Okay. Now, offer Ashanti region in Swa. Oko school be to say Kumasi Anglican. Now, in Kumasi Anglican, before 2006, 2005, Jacob Naswin in Kumasi Anglican, yeah, maybe Assembly and the Kumasi Anglican Mawankaum. But because of the model school that was implemented by His Excellency John Ajekunkufu at the time, they expanded infrastructure at Kumasi Anglican. And 2017, the side infrastructure in the account, Kumasi Anglican, Ubenya 12-unit classroom block, blocks are SUO, Ubenya dormitories are SUO, Ubenya assembly blocks are SUO, Ubenya dining halls and so on. They account from all these periods. They expanded infrastructure. Be that as it may. And my lose focus on the fact that before the implementation of the free senior high school, every year we had 100,000 young men and young women who were not able to go to school, largely because of poverty, largely because of unfairness and injustice that was created by the system, not by the fault of anybody, but because of the fact that Yahuba was but the convention in what I seen is so what it meant was that the system was just eliminating people. And the implementation of the free SHS definitely all the backlog of 100,000 young men and young women who were not able to go to school. And if say made benevolence after a period of 10 years, we were talking about 1 million people are not going to go to school. And clearly you could see the implementation of the free senior school education in Bayern. There have been people at the age of 24, 25 that ordinarily they must have completed a year university. They had the opportunity to take advantage of the free senior high school education. Maybe I'm about John Dramani Mahama, former President Abaso, with respect to the introduction of Sa Novdek Noir or introducing at the level of the BEC. Say Obi control BEC that's one thing in China, that's one thing in Costa or the opportunity to go and write a year receipt at the level of BC because in any set of decade you kind of decade at the level of the senior high school. But His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Mersono will introduce you that receipt purpose and as a receipt platform. No. Obi I went to Nyanko school in 2011. Obi I went to Nyanko school in 2010. Obi I went to Nyanko school in 2009. Basically even 2016. All these people had the opportunity to take advantage of the free senior high school education. And so clearly the numbers jumped. And the school are 25,000. The Ministry of Education, the Ghana Education Service had to take certain measures. Between Myanmar school after 1,000, 5,000 because yes, everybody deserves to be in school. No child had to be left behind. That's a way back on a way about why we implemented the double track system.
Okay.
All these university system said back to normal.
Maybe some questions will be about
5 years to 7 years. Double track.
Maybe some questions be about double track and as for infrastructure. Typical example, schools how do be a so I know say some of them are going through a year and yes, today Gina Homano so na main corner mene Ora Kwame Owusu Adiomi or National Secretary Edma Chance and name Komo Kakra Korea Sign Headmaster Headmaster PTS Senior High School a war Nkwatia. Ora Adiomi watching about critical issues so. Yeah, there pass when you brema na no pay. Wadama an wepija ne kakrama enim say wo so e bia na wo bibiye na ya tun sa fraud yesre wa no pija ne kakrama ye. Na mo ya cherecherefo a mpanifo am da school so ahodo da no. Wadama oha be pa na sesi e kasai mo.
Yo, that be pray or how they let me situate it in this way or how they no public how. And in the school setting, we were transiting, but we were transiting from one group of people in school into another. So
I'm so read you me a homano article. Yes, I'm Pusubu say and Sabitumi Canoa. It's say, a year secondary school outdoor no. Woman a dano, headmasters no. Womuku no the church for penny. It's woman a bit to me a child, dear potting, said you know, said you any ho, and they said school no, and Quarana boy piece, we be no cassa woman piece, so said Nina and Uncle, what to me, at the home summer, was some Bahman so there, Yanko. Already, I'm going to say, well, woman it's a coy.
It's so cry, baby. If you were transferred from one group of the tracks to another, we are waiting from 3 4 days, they are forever here. So the time won't be your mobility. And now we're transiting. I am saying, I can't be here in a MI, and simultaneously, we have reports from all over the country that the food hasn't gone. Management frame and many and you read the way forward. And we believe we say yes, there may be some challenges anyway, but that transition and the master challenges nearby. In fact, the management in the institutions wanted to actually be proactive, said that challenges but that is the first thing. And if you believe we say a situation now, but either myself, my president, and some other co-executives were in the Ghana Education Service headquarters, and resolve to a very large extent.
More resolve in which way? More resolve at the end of my resolve is say, yeah, can yes, Adriana who are quite actually Adriana who I am not I will school so out no more. I am no cresse Adriana who I am not. I will school so out no more.
And I make a show say it was a transition from a one group of people, definitely almost already an ebefa. And the new ones there, and I know what you are in my and it became 3 hours for also knowing what your word is going to eat in the day. I think that you become a bit worried. And the amount of parties there, and I think that was what goes through to the media. So when you're paying what they called us, and we are resolving because you never first stop. Kasai, the food is on the way. In my case, I am saying we were only challenged with rice and but there are some that I can eat between now and maybe a week from now. And it is not as dire as so many people want us to believe.
It is a bedu brea, ye can want some wood, ye found the anxious walk. Say, would ye bedu brea, ebia, ebesana, or chibacon, and as if you need to my weekend. Say, Sana, Bacono, and my mobile day.
It means you say you get to our extent. It means you can either a Eastern regional first stop was not able to say what mine is some numbers I am for immediately.
Radio me, Wahoma Nasa from Crow.
Hello.
Do baby, I'll cut and back clear, pay do baby so not because a phone over the baby one. Come down, say.
Phone already.
Ah, for the way I clear.
Okay, and you mean that baby, and I may put me on that you can get me. It is an awesome here. Media and me believe we say the system assistance is good because it has saved us the headache of sucking students, especially around this time when we are writing papers. And they said they're proactive. They said they are more discussing. It is good. Said that people who are in authority and all that would know say, okay, they drew let's see, and they will say it might say that everybody will be free. I think that if the headmasters had all that they needed in preparation towards the arrival of the students, that we wouldn't have come around this time.
So I can say you're proactive and not just say you're to me and Twana Mon said they see to no far. A bit much as but my miss away. A year then and Quadano see him on the 15th of September and I come back and be from 1 4 no. I feel one I'm afraid say 28 August and ankwada ne ba fi eba ne se na saje na si de bae
me ya me mono di plan on be panu form 1 for no be panu mo na ye 15 September the only be my originally hello the one me menim no the call headquarters from the man no it the kids were rather supposed to return on the 15th of September. But I believe we say management, we are all studying the double track in Dom. There will be some space because Omo has no echo. There is space in the Argentina Omuma. Then it is an here. Now will be the call, will be the map on the 15th. Maybe the enemy said, if I withdrew management attention, there will be a lull of about 2 weeks. You find everything. And things are planned, we are looking for time because of the COVID-19 situation nearby. If there's a chance for the child to come to the school to learn, we felt that it was good. And we drew management's attention and they bought into it and then allowed them to come. And Kanaka, for I think, first year for long, good for long, the back.
A bit more kasa say a green track for no so urbano. So back form 1 for no one. Ebe ma school sunu mai so congested say ebe ha adwene form 1 for the ho green track for neba form 3 for be ho enti no kwan bi so no ye fa kwan bi so nkwada form 1 for no ko fina green track for no emra se na be ya wo mo be he ha wo mo sa sa na tie
e ba so o share na we share tracking system now. The number that goes to it are almost as equal as the number that comes. In your Form 1, I may not be able to recall it. Let's say half of Form 1 and half of Form 2 are born home. Half of Form 1 and half of Form 2 are coming. Forget about the tracks. But your son has a mistake. To be a level of about 50, 20 or something, that will make the difference. In some schools, I know that some courses which outnumber the reality, you know, and no, but in this it is so much out of hand because you have the way school are from school to school. We declare number in spite of the tracks, you know, make me a continue. It is done school by school. And you yourself, you have to sit down with your management as headmaster and then decide, say, oh, say, there just how number we are. And I say, we'll move here. You say from 3 4 years, normally, no, you don't allow them to go home. Some bar or could be holidays ready. And in the COVID-19 situation, I say, maybe for holidays alone, even from this time up to the time on baby's home. So for them, it is constant. And you look at the intake of your school, these are the number that you can admit. And it is done. You can check it up from every headmaster. You and now can say, how many of you can you? And if there's congestion, I think the buck stops with the heads of the institutions. So because all the management don't want to. It is what you desire that they bring you, and you calculate and you know. And I remember they will ask you, is it right? Is what you are saying the right thing? Sometimes they cross check at the headquarters to see your capacity. The headquarters have a system of checking your capacity, and I don't think if there is, I know there may be shortage of beds and all that, and that one is a recurring something. Well, I'm almost subject they are all for me and every year, you know, there is some level of shortage of things like furniture and they are talking about chances are that it will be true before. And most of the time, no, it is not the shortage actually, but the asset and they are not challenged. But I think the capacity media, everybody declares it, and so every headmaster may have to dance with the music. How one can say, and no, or declare they can't see the now only a code declare or pension. So, but they don't know why inherit and we are another will be more together. But every headmaster, you declare they can't stand on my students.
Oh, do me, my name is Mona Moye at church for penny from that school. So, who do you know? Near me, Holistically, the kind infrastructure wise, the tosumi, you know, materials, teaching and learning materials, the tosumi and staffing, for Nankasa, Jumaya Forno, the tosuna, near Mahudwa, a bebwama and homosuania de chere akona nimuno. So, Koso said, yes, Mosha Kwanse Bekono.
The name said the name is Anqualano was school. I think I've worked for my dear. Definitely no. And you might see. So, I said challenges there. Yes, we will live by challenges every day. So, to say one more on me, and there may be challenges in your institution and in your institution. And then also the system is bad. So, and for me, for the mere headache, I premise my for the mere fact that you see, so we uncle pound obiba. So uncle fee credit school fees in Nathan or veterans or any. And all my car. It is in book. Everybody is accounted for. As I sit here now, there are people who are owing from 2016 when the school fee program no on. What is still against my school? So some of the schools are indebted because of the paying of the fee. So for that alone, I think that credit must be given to whoever they implemented. As we move on, I think we have a lot of things that we want to have with the authorities to discuss. That may not be for your consumption. That will bring us all the relief that we need. And when the opportunity comes, we will roll it out to them. And then when we have a chance to also discuss, we will be able to discuss them.
Musika says here, the Bremo, number the boss school, who Brana Aba.
On the techniques last Wednesday, and I think it may be in the by. I saw it physically at the headquarters. Within next week, it will land.
For how long near Ebiakam?
Oh, is it necessary? I don't know. What the way very early at them. So the infection was from on Wakasa saying maximum physically. They showed it to us as to what was coming and communicated to our members. And I think that one was also end the matter.
Yeah. We follow stakeholders. Yeah, so yama hono so yenso ye stakeholders ni bi enti no se bibi kwaso a na se bia mo na yede nkwara na be shamonsa management de omo wankran ne me ahodo no regional offices ne ahodo enti omo de no direct indirectly no omo ne nkwada no endele directly ye ne mo ne nkwada na ti ho ye bibia no bia enti parents se etumi hu se de ne masi kwankasa pa enti na me bisa no se
people too make you say the pray we are stakeholder. Me a stakeholder. But the fact is, yes, it's a concern of everybody. But in between the management meeting and you come out telling everybody what was decided there. You understand? So for now, let's hold on. There was a matter, they quickly called us, we have done the resolution, and then things have started flowing. And I come on air. No, you will be betraying the system. I granted this interview just to assuage the talent there. It is not as dire as people who want to believe. So on the that management called it immediately, and they have sat down with us. They have told us that there will be something landed. Indeed, to say a quarter of us are more than first one. Say. I might be to a mobile social media party. Now, then we come back and then we talk. For now, I think that from what we have laid, the roadmap, we believe we say everything is going to be okay.
How soon? Enti mi komisa prof kwese bukwa mankwa wa hu.
We are Saturday today. Within next week something positive will come because they send us even the amount and all that is coming. Hello.
Awie, wo de radio mi yɛfa wo sia na wo se enche. Enti encha yɛn so yɛ twɛn. Se kyɛn so a me yehu na yɛn ka wasɛm na fe yɛntumi yɛmfa de yie yɛmfa nto yie na so dwe ntumra nti yɛbɛda wase pii anɔpɛ. Owura Kwame wo so aduo mi National Secretary at the chance na ne nsɛm na yɛte no se wo ne management atena. Enti Professor Pokwa Mankwa machie braisi se ebrepa mu no ye befro na so de wo no ma me yehu na awofo no komato mu yam kakra enti eko hello eko
Agya, I was eager to listen to Adiomi, but unfortunately me tell kasa no ba man tie Adiomi de no ba kokra.
Oh, too bad.
I was eager to really listen to him.
Anyway, okay. And with you beka na asam na baby bre.
Yeah.
Tofa bobo no, say the question e kame say mo so mo te ho popoyan kakra ti committee no, what are you going to do next?
Well, a matter of public interest. And normally, no, the Education Select Committee will not necessarily wait to say, "Yen train complaint, Ryan so." And sana yetimi edi hujuma. Meno kasevia, me chairman me ranking and so. Ebeka hwasem. Na the approach that we will have to take from the viewpoint of the Select Committee of Education. To question and answer someone the Ministry of Education to brief the public as to how or share to deal with such a problem, that is if it exists. And when we are everybody can come man telling about more the various senior high schools no nananom wofasenom yenianom na wo with respect here this ko da ko school na afiane ni wa omopedi which is if the allegation that is being put out there is true then the papa and we have to find a way to deal with the matter as soon as possible.
Akwa ebeda ase na no pay.
Ntumeda se na akunya. I'm sure.
O sha wonso. We eko asefua ono na oye o tafom na shebedwani enkane kasamafo edema humasua so ye no ena ono kure ya nso ukobedwaku a ewo mra shebedwamu a omohwe humasua wonsam so a wono so odimu akotini yepa wono ena yene no edi nkomo no enti asemhia nti yebehwe se de medi kan ehye mobɔ no so afa be de kire a wo hwe humasua so gitu mu oje pene sanko baba na nkɔne yate na dɔnhwere ba ko mu a na nka ye haw ahodo a ye wo ene nsamodo ekoba nyina no woni atumi de hu komo na so se me ne okasai wonya ema meka ye nsa wonya ma ye nti ye be ne kakra se ya na ye de akoyanim. Sandra Owusu say Ghana needs to go forward. We are tired of politics every day. We need to talk about social issues too. Good morning, Agya Kwabena. Good morning, Sandra. Social issue ne say we crave you. So ana any social issue Sandra. You find sa. Ohene ba oseye Boaben Shadrack Agya Kwabena, please ask Mr. Eko why the junior high school students have the textbooks of the new standard basis curriculum. Why they haven't undergo any training. Really? Eko also no okwi. Emi ya anka education minister baya anka ibisa nsa question ne pa. Obi so say electricity meter ni baby omo no. Ese de ohia obi de ohia obi ani de ohia no so ampa. Abla de fie kuma say I think CDD reports it's real pa, so MPP should accept it. CDD and CSOs have been carrying this survey for many years now. When it supports MPP, they hail them, but when it's against them, they say it's propaganda. From January till now, prices of commodities have gone up, but they say inflation is good. Fellow Ghanaians, let's vote MPP government out in 2024. They have nothing for Ghanaians. We ablade if you kuma. Councillor Jonas Aite, honestly, education in Ghana is gradually losing its quality each day. It's about time both NDC and MPP stop playing mind games with that. It's very sad. Or no with regards to the textbooks, The explanation Honorable Echo is giving isn't making sense in any way. It's a lie for him to say that the resource park can be used as substitute for the textbooks. Please tell him that we, the teachers on the grounds, are suffering. They can't be in their office, or they can't be in their offices and tell us what he is telling us. How many years now? Etienne, yasemia say ye kan sem ahudo nyina na ma pamfo no nyina nya meka mensa bakoba ye bekasa mienu ba ye bekasa nti opike wa ha akra ba
me da se bebre
bia boko de
yesu adom bibia boko
abatu pesu so e
yesu adom bibia boko
weekend gwa nyanko
debi weekend dey no tukan kanti
last weekend na na mo
sa pepe
mete won kan ho sa me bia obeku bia me satellite ni so frɛ enkoma ye die fa enkwada school hu sem nuane ho akwa ese akwa atwe education minister be chirichiri mu sanye sa netie ye ne owura duomi o ye charge national secretary di nkomo no ne nsema oka ene se esan se nkwada no ebi beba ne nasefo nti no first consignment no kwa yi sa no na second consignment ma nti no ene ma panic ba system no mu amanfo kasa bando hope se enche bia no ordinary day on school cry example say in the stock or one can take him for about a week or two. It's or shows every time no na the other you know so aba na fe or cancer the far sika say the mom dey run school so on just obunya crisis kakra ba on management e ba bi hia ama management a shebo say on the paper sanse ma wo do ekoba nyina no is it not hindering the progress of education ma ehumesua no exana ke se koyo no say I say car ne plugs on yi
yeah Jacob na me da se bebre dey din kan ma me mfa konya na me nchia ahwefo nyina ne titiri ni wona ehwe from I mean price on peso asofo nyina addition ya dia ehia papa se bio and then pempenso ye nyina ye bedru nya addition nka ye nro so we am rashe bedwani one shedan ko school difficult say you survive in this terrain and you know say Ghana for anansi addition semba na ye kan wasem a ade a yedika ade a e was ye nyina yetimika ejakona
yes sir
the challenge is that free SHS program na ye dia aba no sebio obia ni obetimi akase free SHS program no 100% fully operational sebia free SHS program na ye no nkika hen bie ni hu anase challenges bie ni obia kasa na oya contempo but I think that we need to look at the positives of the free SHS and weigh that against the various challenges na ye nya no of course even if you cry ye na ye timu cry no etoda o feel say wo aduane wo fie a nkwala die ni niema but ebia one day no o yiri be bi o store room no na ono ehunu say aduane na ye ka wasem na bia shortages bi aba it is possible it's also possible say sometimes no the demand no outweigh the available stock it you know yes it is good see e be ka wasem if there are challenges with food say aduane ho semba na ye ka wasem a e wasi etimika nemum e wasi etimi hwe emfasudia oban enya from the free SHS program Jacob now for a very long time now we had over 100,000 of these fresh graduates on free BEC in Niama. They could not access free secondary education in this country until free SHS buy ye nyang kwala ene e bi kra nyanya scholarships but for free SHS no nenka secondary school education kra na ebo wo and now me no ka say the free senior high school program no it is not only for secondary schools but also for TVET any technical education vocational education training programs I would run no and only buying a focus ye dey cost you know I'm a bit sometimes worried say challenges nearby we want to create the impression say the free SHS is near collapse. It is not. It is one of the most progressive policies the MPP government and Nana Nodanko Akufo-Addo Edia Ba me feel say was here to me a bomb abaso near share. So far, over 1.2 million Nkola have benefited from the free SHS program. And for me, it is very, very encouraging. I was seeing it to me, I saw a buying. And now, dear question, so a year, Sabio say, maybe question, yeah, there were 2 abontinia, and on a buying it to me addressing.
Maybe a one pep, you know, and somebody be to me, but now, maybe a month for raising consent, say, no. Quickly, near started rubbish, say, a month for consent, some day, ever. Would you say, you know?
Well, no, I don't think so. And once you rubbish, a month for consent or over. The consent in the bar, we need to accept it and make sure that we work on it. There's no advanced country civil society organizations and I say critics anywhere or me survive. Mpenifo ne kan se mbi se ese di otwasa no onum se ne chiachia enti se wo twasa no na se bi obi ba no be kire wo se bebi a wonam ye na kwan wonam sinto kakra wo ha wo se wo no utumi tie se be ya wo de be ya adwuma enti me no if people are criticizing it is better for me in fact me peso aso no wo mo a to da won frame kan sem kire me se bi a ade ekoye anye ye se ni se no o mo kra na abribia no wo pese onimu din komo kase pa se be ya wo so no betimi aye nti se sinto bia ba free SHS na abetodwane ye ka begidi se e wo se yetimika but the American question say the policy free senior higher education no the benefit idea brain infrastructure idea brain o man no e ade kese a se bi asembeto ne ye ka we should not say ye kan nyina bomu na ye create impression say ade no him anasa ade na beto form say bi ene UTV aye we etoda niema ye mfidie ba ku mienu bitimi top chema I don't just say UTV is not the station of the nation. I don't just say UTV is not the best watch station in this country. UTV is the best watch, but a system dey operate ye dan ya e bi beto chema e bi bekoyie na say nkrofo atwe adwen ba so a eno ena ye correct all these problems na ye dey akoye nim enti no asemba e wo se ye ka na ye kan so a yeso asaban ya sudie ne se ye betie de ye manfo ka se be ya wono nhihye anase wono trimpo ne awon adwenkyere no ye betimi asomu dene na ye dey atene na ye dey ayi I've said say the free SH policy no enye MPP aban kuto dia e Ghana fo nyina dia na so die dan ho se nyina e besom ne e bebo ho ban e bi die ne se ade e kochema obeka ho asem e bi die ne se e se otimi episka within the economy no the fund free SHS no it's a collective responsibility which I was seeing nyina yetimi you I think like a crime no yes there may be challenges but the policy remains one of the best it has come since 1992 in a political dispensation.
Me that's papa. Yeah, there's a Dr. Chris Ampedo, senior lecturer, Pentecost University, so about becoming sa ye be doing common and nanope, opening a Kwaba. There was CP so when you're bread, so that's papa. Yeah, do come the Fairfield Senior High School. What we ubia, we are lecture who must see some mono, what being woman, I wouldn't say the city. Challenges out on a war. And one some na ye kan e kudu ba bi o say nuane ho akwa atwe kakra ye si hey enye nokore ye say ye nokore ye si sika nko ye si sika ko ene ho nsem bebre e ba ne sa psychologically no enkwada na wo school mu no ensuso be na benya omo so ansampo ansana omamu ni nyina so no e benya e wo ye humehwa ne hyehyɛ ye so
yo me da say me say better mo say issue I say no me won kwan se betima comment aya na adepa bi ba na manfo the politics na I ha me kakra because ade ye na ye ade ye nso enye na ade ye nso so aya ye sese condemn no na emomu no bibia abrabo ayebo impo no se enye de manya beko tin amawo eti se sin to be ba ne se a problem echo emerge a okwan be fa so a e be solve no em say no hu hia chen say we be kasa etia policy ni enyina yenye nim say free SHS ba yi aboa bebre there is not for me yeah eco school e cry it because secondary school ye hwe baby ye free ye timi nya ho kwan po eco secondary school ye kan say e adom because enya adom bi wo hwe tibia papa ne maami wo mu wo mu esi nkete say okwan bi o befa so aboa me ama secondary school cry nya ade a me nya ho kwan akobi enti ye nim na secondary school ye call a boy ya next years bi because I know a man can hear any one cuz I'm really be akwa ya wu enti one of the best policies anya meaning e kan here no na mom there are problems they can ho ya me say students in the almost school mu omu nim near ebri amanfo e kan abonti na mom no politics idea yo say be aduane ni ho ana sin to be wa e na e kan say aduane ni schools bi minister ni deputy echo some of these schools no then you hu here aduane wo ho a aduane ko abusu enti wo hwe ni a amanfo kan so bi ba ni se si e kan ni de no kre ana yedi etu yi a na se o mu di politics nya wura mu pe na asem kan kra na se asem papa kra na sei na sa ni se o ma ye wo mi sa na ko bi bia ni de politics bi bia de politics se wa ba mu a sa me kan ama ya je aban no ho akasa aban no bomode ni hia me ni aban mu so a na me kan ediegu aban nanimu ase no eno me ya me chidifo be hu se me soso me ye politics e ba sa ne e ya reho e ma ye at least ye wo school pon mu
system no sana akwakwọ esisi munu mu amomo dan fifin no na ese etimunka politician de on your bar e ye den na de ono beka say that wokan ye e be suit ni political ideology say ni agenda no e no be ye meanwhile one more ye de amman no and yeti no mdin amanyofo one be ye oman but we show musu ni omban a me de do be am so omo nya amanyofo
me no ya dwen because amanyo no enye say wo betwi obi asensen ana wa say obi ana wa go obi no ase just for your personal interest and no ye egoism and I say selfishness are entry ma amanyo enkokan na we a politician e kan manyo a just nia adua on beba nia obeye ama oman akokan ama oman na chenso ama ayedie aba oman mu ene be hia wo they say amanasa na ko propaganda anase me cancer no se be ya ye nyina na okan ti aban no anase kan gu aban na nimu ase no wan na aban no o man nu gu o man na nimu ase ade pa ba ade no eye adwen be na etimi aboa abasa policy a chenso because one mo kase ti asa ni me nyina bebre e bia obunya free education enye free education ka obu ntimi nko parliament ne nkasa se ne o mo kan no bebre position mu kura no adum bi enya me di adum wo mo e bia CMB scholarship ana scholarship bi wo nti se ade ba e be to ho na e be boa wo man no a ye kan mu aban na because amanyo no obi ba be ye bi e do obi so aba be to aso enti wo aba be to aso no ne awe ma ye gya na no so aba be to aso ene wo so aye yi wo no e so hu se yes obi aba be bi ne awa aba be so so no ye moa no ma ono so empim ko nanim
ye wura na edu ba bi so a obi ne obi me na me de ma de aba ene bia me so me tie akire no me se ade a ode ba yi sanka wo ye ni se sanka betumi aboa enti no me a me ye se de opi kekan no e bia de otwa sanim se na chiachia enti me a me tie akire no se bebia ye wura ampadu ekoi we ampadu okoni se yankaye no jai me na me kwan wo me kwan enti no onipa na ode ade na implement ade no de owa chi ono ye se e bia all criticize no the implement ade na rubbish criticism no nti aba ne sabe de na ade na tumi akore ni mama na
well me in fact say rubbish amanyo ye adwenkyere kabi ma min kan bi nti obia kire na adwene any ansa na obi so bi di policy be ba a obi hu adwuma no kire say it's a well taught idea nyese all commerce one no de ba na ebo wan adwen ho abobo ho adwen bebre ni based on that no ansa na sa policy no e ba enti would a good so do adwen be ba but the first wo che wa adwen no kire say ne a wo kan ye no CFA and me ni say nia ebia opposition for be kan nyina na ban rubbish you all the kwadwendwin mu ne wo nyina bobo hu ahwe say idea we Kwabena boy but making sure say a policy ye pese e fa sa kwan we e bi adwen wo che no e be chia no kakra ana de be fa baby kakra e moa se ne adwen ho no enti se me yin se mo ro be hye no e mom baby adwen ne se ye kan ya ne ye so ajetum ne de ye adwuma e no so enti sa se kabima min kabini se wo che wa adwen an nipa betumi adwen ho akokan na wo ja tutu ni ma bebre ho ansa na obeyi bi akane a wo ye no kwa wayi enya so kan ya because
ne consensus ahodo a ebinu erezi bakumi no yesa binu ono no so de honsam kakra abreye ne yintia koda na makwan ntam sa obra na kesi bia ka o makwan September 15 August 28 na mo ba fi no na hwe na aka no so asem ne some other issues bia mo be hia se to bia no efi mission aso ye de ma na nyina e ko se de to me e ko tina answer na makosi akwaba no kofi awo to say Kwabena. Education must not be politicized, except these politicians don't have the children in the public schools at heart. This problem is going on, so they should try and fix it because Nana is trying to make education attractive. But also, na drink power they aba no na. Agya, I don't know better say about you. Okay, I don't go there na kan mami ko for na me hwe kwesi akara dia ye focus dia na ne kwesi ni ko kakra na ye hwe kwesi akwaba
ya jabani
ni dia boko
na ko me ba don so
I don't kwesi say adiana no na bra me be ko na say aba bibiri
But that's it for opportunity. No, I'm saying for some time now, we hear media interviews, media discussions, and the discussions in news and the column say Agya in our secondary schools. And one of these issues are raised about say Yama students because of Agya. But I will say if indeed say Agya in Yama students another part no more. Say also more because students are crime between 28th to 30th of just last month, 1st September, maybe a day. And it's okay 1st September. Indeed, if the argument should hold, say Agya, that's how the impression was made to look at. So how we call 1st September, 7 days. And for me and we at the education ministry, no, first of all, no, yeah, the media, especially the one with the news we buy, and what we see is a good feedback for all of us. Because at the end of the day, no, so feedback in the ministry should be able to.
Okay, yeah, fixing maybe some madam. Which ability some CI someone. Yeah. Na akɔyɛ bibi sɛnti ɛbɛsrɛ mu asɛ mode ɛbɛkyɛ yɛn nti yɛmfiri ne mu a Where the best pa say infidie no ye kakra enu tira mana koba sa best mo fanche yen and am asenso ene mabotra manya de amaye na kwesi kwati kasa na odinti ma memfa we mfam na kwesi kwati ento aso aduane ho asama ye kan kwesi na nanugu so no. Vida Simpson say it is unfortunate politicians talk this way. At least we have children in infantiman and infantipim schools, and we know the complaints our children bring home. The children are not fed well. The food is so small. The gari, shito, and the lights we send every 2 to 3 weeks tells it all. Bragwazi.
Okay. We are for the feedback. More media for to be honest, say you are part of somewhere ensure say at the end of the day, the best out of the government they even in our schools. And better myself for such a feedback. But Ubusamia on the journey no. First of all, no, the Omu Kakrana say our records are with GES. I mean, we say GES na body almost share the pre-tertiary schools, that is schools from KG up to the secondary schools. No. Officially, as at now, no, school be anywhere or file official complaint with GES. Sebia Nigeria Asa. That is no ever. And on the issues of quality and the quantity, no, Abribia Mekase, yeti hey mewaha, minya penny opike waha, openizu wana waja Kwabena also waha. Ye maye sisia se kobi, meko, and chene, then chinam, see and fanya juanea. Ye really a fre, in producer so more tastier, they will have taste variations. And on the issue of quality, no, unless it is too extreme, no, possible say ubenya sa and same way, because you are having a minimum of over 700 secondary schools. Out of this 700 secondary schools, hypothetically, you have about 2,000 to 3,000 students in each of the schools. If 1 or 2 people raises issues of quality in any of the schools, it is possible. But me no, Abibia me de me instance. For instance, me asante achim domia brand entertainment. Asante achim domia brand be beka benku, edi meko kakra ebia enchena ma na se bia ko bi medi me okay menum so aguso. Obizo wo ha baby a wotenae asetena ne ntete ne the kind of lifestyle no so nyae no wo de the same aduane koma na obeka cho say dey enye quality ndi ho no so ya na ahwe ho ye. If it was a general problem say over the 700 secondary schools here Ghana no obi issues of quality then we have an issue. But me de bia make say and also nche say as a ministry or as an agency no it shouldn't give us the right and say the even we have minimum. For us, it's an opportunity for all of us to go to the grounds. Yeah, hear some of these issues are raising. And for me, they be America say, and some no came up in media conversations. But maybe on, for instance, quantity once a my okay. I just come na ye ni pa 9 ya waha. You told the Kunoma, the Kun 2 balls is here. Make was equal to medi bako. Make us a mammy, bako can be a make us a NCO. I just come na be a miruna by a day, ubedi. Mirunu crab, you better say miruna day, and so. And generally, no, we have that subjective of any say differences. A way in name where Honso no, I was say the adjunya the equoso. But assembly by no, Yantana. I remember one critical instance. Personally, assembly by na me call general GS or spokesperson. Or me call them and say Cassandra and assembly na equoso because I mean there have been media discussions in media conversations say Jania the Asa. And also the checks with the Director General and there. No school has officially filed a complaint. But the why and say quickly or place calls to all the schools. I think there were about 6 or 7 schools out of the over 700 schools now in Ghana no. Or place calls to them. Feedback in from a school like Kwabena, for instance, no. The discussion or the media conversation is omu repeat aduane de emomo. Jim Kwarani bo how he media interview no omo friend allegedly. That is even if say omo yankwara na so omo ye parents of Nkwara na. Also omo di mon sa omo di sardines sa omo di tinapa sa nti onya na ntwinam nya dey enwe onya akokọ nya dey enwe nti ono no issues of quality dey ewo ho na sa de aduane asenti na repeat diet dey emomo ye place call to the Kwabena headmaster feedback about and say o si bibia say ni ho we have been changing meals for them. That is the unknown feedback. Yantana say ade na minister soma nkofo so mo nkọ he with monitoring omo so ko no mo afirm the position na Kwabena headmaster communicate back to the GESPR no e ho na me wo ho and so wa minister ya de bi opani adutwum ya de bi wankra obi a so wo share the pictures about out bra call offense presec legon na ya anajo one crowd will be all men in the office no why no so yapon de obi atimi kofi ono kwa to car one place call to any individual and obowura presec okwa na nkra na esua de no so ade sua ekọ say ne ekọ so na mudidi esemu so te say enu na mudi dai ena mudi dai ade che so mu bedi dai na just say issues of quality ni aduane asa and I have pictures here me man na producers na show ye come store room ni ade yes ye come store room ni ade in their store room aduane was full omo nipa in charge of store no say problem be any but Agya Kwabena make us say no it is not in any way say asema na take no emtimi nya no kre sometimes omo de ade omo bad omo asema mo kan abebia ye kokobo for instance oko school bi no be 100 bags of ebia isam anabra obetima ka cho say enche na aduane besa nti I mean it can be construed as shortage but shortage no me construed say asa say ebi ni ho obu ha no de makoko say in the supply chain no so obe ha aban ya ade bi we initially headmaster sin na ekoto aduane no the aban na say afi no de saa too minimum buffer stock nti buffer stock the mandate ni say enka na akuafo complaining say o ye aduane no ba ye nkofo nto aduane say ye bura say ye bayira say no that problem no aban pese o yi free ho nti quickly ukuani no ene buffer stock and range first aduane no common school no na beje osika buffer stock ho say de be as a problem no e bi ni o de e ma ho bi o in that supply chain no obu ho de kwa na tie be pai obu ho de kwa na nsu atonti bayire de ade begu so akase ni ade chane de yeko there could be some short delays and other things but I don't say we have a problem general Agya Kwabena me busa do you sure say Ghana have had over 700 secondary schools so they have average layer 2000 students in each of them na aduane asa enne anopakora ni di Monday wi anwumre kosi na nwumre na Tuesday the same thing Wednesday the same thing kosi Friday na Ghana ka betima tena ha. And yes, for us the feedback is good. We are in touch of the schools, minister directed personally. Me anka same ko buffer stock. Me ko na me say problems here ho nie. All those schools are already concerned in even though it was a media discussion. And nipa a friend, you can't even validate whether they are parents or not. But for instance be obi friend or say na kwara ba free school by na swati. Me ko no good mase. Me am free ko no good mase. But be free SHS no we na committee. Egina obo ha beka to say ebia malnutrition tia first of all diagnosis ben and nipa ko ne ye ya otimi conclude say malnutrition what I need medical advice it could even be say are for enti me can say me address say issue ni say me advise parents and say beyond ye nyina adwen say be aduane ho asem o de on fa kra na hospital no ko hwe bi kura na nye malnutrition but ye ko no good mass no because ye offer introduce don preps me te fie de bia me da santi ache me do me de bia me da nti don prep na te say me na na be dey e be say me sorry anopa kikikiki me buy ye say afternoon prep ye pon ya ye ko ye be kwa kosua de afa ba be do be 10 ye be do 10 ya we be make sure so that ahomache 4 am bo kwa 3:30 sorry for na time no so nti these are all some of the variables e betima ko so even e be affect your body no your hormonal balance and other thing. And that shouldn't be misconstrued. Say so baba no okosu no weigh 68 kilograms. No obana or weigh 67. I say abaya man aduane papa bi ani. But you respect our concerns na aba no. Ye tie na sopem every school bia in question bia na say ni dia ba bia. Minister of Education, Honorable Dr. Yoduchum, a directed buffer stock, which is the agency responsible for that. Record say ministry in the supervision. Honorable say agencies in Abayo Majuma. They are getting in touch with all of them. Some schools, the minister himself has personally gone there. Other schools, he are sending money to him to there. GES so aka. But on the record, no, officially, no school in Ghana here has written to be a GES and I say a place you call to be a director, regional director, be or buffer stock or so say Nigeria there. Asa, ebi ni hosa.
Kwasi ma mi san we, wa maka be fa sika ye de koma mo e de bo school no ho bra. Ye ne owura wo so duomi e di nkomo na no pay. Am ye bi san say sika na eba no so be ka chi kaka na so no am say sector ministry no any GS afro and no my meeting am a shabo say enche nwani bia no obo so de nanu hu Mr. Check o se den sika nda be na mo de ko
we sika sem na buffer stock one there. And for me abebi am say this is an opportunity for buffer stock. This is a multi-million-dollar contract. How more execute here because what the man private individual be akwa yeyo say did 2 million amount say supply nyane to over 700 secondary schools. It's a big opportunity for you because ultimately nyesika erugutu more into the buffer stock. That is one. Oshe nyane sem na 70% of nyane sem buffer stock and not a deal. That is nyane and no enye perishable. They say be a greens a bro atoko emo beans ni ade no ba fast stock de beko eno ye omo asem 30% na ye de ministry no de beko. Of course, I mean the money will come from Ministry of Finance. The last check I'm here with Minister of Education, you open here di twem no sika ekabia ni ho unse omo payment models omo de ma e se bia yitwa say ya the expectation say bia within 1 month or 2 months no na mo da clear normal mo de be dem betoto. The last one here the standing the last time we say minister no say processes has far advanced. Even check has been released said there was in Kenya nyango pompa there were expectations say bia Friday we na subsequent week omo sabit my day aka. And I'm sure that is even against the future projections, not say be a kebi or hontina aduane nye de enko. Nti sika se mu no so far as me concern me checks with buffer stock ne Ministry of Finance ni adene sika sem bia ni ho say bia se bi obi na ntimi entwe ne sika bia. But I think there is one general problem we cannot run away from, and that problem is, for instance, say no ekuafo no buy kran so top, because you have all the secondary schools buying all of them. At the end of the day, in OP market and so on. And now the balance is say OP market and price the be man on the buffer stocks the be man no. There is that temptation say we ahano the beko. Again, the advantage in this and say amasa initially ekuafo complaining you no buy ye nto ye dua no man na say your tomatoes na say no. Say what ya problem ni hobio. Enti we have to look at it from all perspectives. Generally, you need problem with funding and as sikasem bia. So far as a concern at the ministry level on the buffer stock bia no. Sika problem bia na ho asem kan da boko.
Radio me can say me say because it's Canada be na beba. We no say o to me can say na so very soon am say how soon. Na ye nyina dey say I say very soon na o to me to America enkonko ka bibi wo bra asoye no ahye obobo say no mabeye. A great concern de ma awofo ne ahwefo nyina na esuafo ne omamu ni nyina no. Yemfa ne say edubra ese nkwada no emakwan. For instance, nansen yakwa mama ye. Me bisa owura adiomi, we say bisa won so. Na ke so mama kwan 15th of September. Ne sen kwara no bafi. Ye ho e no mo fresh say 28 na kwara no makwan e August. Let's say 2 weeks before I saw makwan no. Na e pofiri ma ye say kwara na emrefi. Ebinum se na aduane ni wona ye kan na yampa. Ebi no se na da nkwala eduane no na eyampa ebi sense o munyina green track for no so ba so mo ba pe na eduane na asembe ba ti o mo yese na be ya o mo ba balance ne ma na equation na course de se ko
Agya Kwabena ka me send the timetable na ma. First of all, timetable is say be am headmasters on the GS communicate to them on the timetable somewhere around me into the hour of the timetable. Speculations need data ko nyina no. We can all refer to the timetable who said there has been no changes in the timetable. But Mami Musa we all want to arrive at the truth. One of the tests how they demonstrate and arrive at the truth, the coherence and the logical consistency in the claim that you are making. For instance, we say, and the claim that you are making is say, GS Ashada Mankwara Kwine, right? With the hope say because of a journey who into a more crime or more befi.
A bidumus sana kwafo kan na me so.
Na make us say, record say, omo ma Kwine no. Ade chi ya na another batch so school. The question we use as a batch no mo school no. Say am pass na aduane ni ho mo kodi dai.
Some say we no be kan won ba doso.
There be omo ko bi sada. There be na batch track we ko na track we aba abonten. Indi say am pass ya she da ma track we kwan. Say the be ya aduane ni ho nti omo metrefe no omo awofo nto aduane mo ma. The following day sa track no omo so koye no. Omo kodi dai. And Agya Kwabena say we ye kan nyina no me de abribia ne papam ne yepo. Say bi ebe ye dem pa say and for all of us you be obi ministry say your penny edutwum say ye hwan say ye a friend say penny in team for jo say ye hwan obi obi awa awofo so oni awofo ko constituents aduane delay even one mpo school mu ha it will cause a problem for him even politically no nkasa as a person. Yes, we cannot say be ye twagu some of the concerns that has been raised. And me want to make am no ya adwin say obi ka say issues of quality yen ka say enye possible crap. Obi ka say na aduane wo din enso na yen kan say bibi say ntimi si. But and na me ma example say yeah ti hey mini opani OPK no ye nya wa hai ye ma ye the same ingredient mako kakadru jenesi emfanya nkwan Agya Kwabena me mini nkwan bo pa me nkwan be da sen.
Oh yes sure.
Enti obi be di obaka to so ene o de na quality. Enti these are all possibilities. But the no system any work. I think we are in a very hasty person run it down the free SHS policy. And that's also here as of now, the ministry and even from GES level, no official complaint. And that will be a discuss. Yes, no official complaint. Nobody has rebutted that officially, on fair complaint. Man, yes, they want to. Yeah, person they are dream media conversations are people are more free. We don't even know whether they are parents. My more example will be free in some media conversation. Also, a former student leader will keep in mind. Her checks with the headmaster, just no. And look at somebody also or a former student leader on your school now telling you the situation in the school. And then the headmaster customer, we don't want to believe what the headmaster is saying, but we want to believe what a former student or school. Yes, and for me, I keep saying, say, your challenges in the education sector, and you're 5 years in the buy. Your challenges with infrastructure, your challenges with textbooks, your challenges with for instance, teaching and learning materials. These challenges are met within 5 years here. But I'm saying, say, some of these challenges, say textbooks, say then within this same 5 years space, President Akufo-Addo, we have been able to address more. The addressing be brave, and the challenges will continue to be there. But as a man say, we should be resolute in addressing all of them.
Addressing it now can say me says will be I say when you say they want to run down the free senior high school. And obi abia who be na adwene na abia well raises our concerns and na for no. Say abia perception no eba adwene ba say abia the part person run it down there there me should be who I mean can say.
Agya Kwabena they make can say unse enkomo na yedi nyina no megitum and even admitted the possibilities. And I make say opani adutum ono ankasa in person he has started working on a lot of them. Buffer stock is in touch of the schools, GES is in touch of the schools. And I'm commending even the media bit say we are appreciative of the feedback I'm there. That is on that side. And I'm not issue here make I say now to class more kind it could be for the future because and then me a headmaster now me 100 bags of a bro now me say 1 week or 2 is a bit master I can raise issues of say a bit short because the intent na nya the bonne the intent na say ensa kra ma ne ho nkɔkyere no men kra na nya bibi nya dey eni that is and also ewo ho but I'm saying say yentimi so nyi that aspect of the politicization of it and also yentimi mfiri mo kra I'm not saying say sa na tie but I'm saying say ye hwe ha na hwe ha kakra but bottom line is say even from the political angle say from the good wishes no opani adutum ditum say de ekoso nyina ye ne papa muntia ento no de anamo bia o tu ho I mean how many ministers now unannounced anadwono no hankasa ko school mo ha nkwara de ne wo and look at what he did he started from nkwara na first ansa no kobusa headmaster no so the be yanko as a headmaster no kwara na di hu bi akose nkwara no so kobusa nkwara no first and I'm sure you have some of the pictures we have more storage room say near there and we are saying say these concerns say be na they are valid concerns you appreciate all these concerns we are working on them we are in touch with most of the schools but the general impression say aduane asan school ni amankrofo kwa na muza say amankrofo kwa mo ko 1 September no so mo ko dide enti eno na be mo hu say well there could be other people so also may be coming from this angle oh they were supposed to vacate A but the vacate B ade tie so other badge so ko no mo ko dide mo ko dide ya hwe ni nyina so
Councillor Jonas Ayite say mo bo pa say head of schools rukra no esuru so betumi aka de say so mo ka obusuru pa anti omutumi enka bi ma chekere for the school for
Agya Kwabena na head of schools right then na be kan we
oze
head of schools right then na be kan we
na maybe I mean you radio meeting ko na bi okoka saade a we pandi gina so de ka saade a minimum ko just sempa furniture was so say good morning wo hwe ko ye da say edum ye chi edum fo nyina Amos Frimpong I say before we can get the facts interview teachers rather than masters because teachers you know on the back of crap headmaster no one can da until ofre a teacher ni a eno betumi aboye pa wo so your teacher my me wo so your teacher na me fro na wo so dia wo ka no wo no wa me ye hu ka be de pa it must from point there the by no and Alex Obin said I teach in one of the senior high schools. I can boldly say that there is shortage of food. The man is afraid to speak. Oh, Ghana.
Almost school kwe kwa address problem.
Nti me nua na de aba na
Agya Kwabena man mo school kwe kwa address problem.
Na make am on family ni ho kwa be fa so a ye betumi ahwe yi we we de ya bre no kwa ya be mfide ne ye hwe CDD fo nsama mo de abai what say about 62% of Ghanaians enya ban we eni so betumi akwete akatahye ne project obike
yes
mutumi nkunti mutumi o 62%.
Well, me yeah, CDD for us. 62% is much improvement from on report on where John Mahama president. About 82% of Ghanaians during John Mahama's time says own to be fighting corruption.
CDD for the
yes, according to CDD Afrobarometer report on the buyer, and you know it shows clearly. But you see, like we have always said, corruption has been part of society. In fact, so because obey me, it was here say yen obeying corrupt be more na obwa because a lot of the corrupt practices that happen, and yet it doesn't happen in the open.
That's true.
Them your friend bomu there just say ya hata so ne dia man will be niema. But for me, I was see it me hwe akwan a aban e structures see ho say be ya e be ma corruption aye expensive and to sha aban ba ye one of the agencies are set it up and Ghana full nyina ya jatum say boa the special prosecutor's office. For me it is a structural institutional ade aban timi aye de siwa I was say timi boa aban ba so. Two, I have said say a lot of the corrupt practices no no it is because of say sikaje ni niema no akoye human de bia we hu we na we hu we or say letter kra koto ba bia ukoje letter na kra no o ukwaye so honorable na honorable na wan fa bibi amma say ni. That is what the digitalization agenda of the government seeks to address. So whilst our boy economy it's also going to cut down on the human interface especially in sikaje and sahanya and for me I'm happy to say the CDD report talks about corruption and it clearly shows an improvement from the previous reports even during John Mahama's era in Myanmar. But there's a lot more that we need to do as a country. But you see, if you rely on solely government to fight corruption, Kwabena, you'll be disappointed. I'm telling you, hey, a lot of the corrupt practices it is not even at the governmental level. Who call the public sector, who call even a taxi driver, and as a trotro driver, who police in Nipe, police in Najana, the booklet no dema police in the BBC no dema police in. When we begin to stop all these practices, but for me, let's focus on the other as a report, instead of say the whole nation is talking about corruption. CDD report talks about unemployment. How are we able to solve unemployment situation in this country? COVID aba, but one district, one factory. The kind of employments are created for Mebunu in this country. I was to be abaso in that regard. Despite coronavirus, and also the police service Abai is going to recruit over 10,000 new Nkrofoɔ into the various security sectors.
And what now amount for crashes protocol no doors do.
Now so far protocol be can no so be apply police here. Can apply police here. Now there was nothing online. And that is what I talked about, digitalization. So virtually everybody me office or also police. As an MP, me find a document and find to obtain. Yes, computers on the apply. And the computer instant to. Udi figures no near my gum BC resource, SSC resource, or age, or height, etumuna. Instantly it make yourself selected or not selected. It makes yourself disqualified or qualified. So that's it. Instantly. And no, obi no bit may be wrong. So it is cutting down on the corrupt practices now. Even in the recruitment sector of government. So that's it. And I understand. And all of this report, a perception. And it is incumbent upon government say gradually, we need to find a way of clearing that perception that Ghanaians have about governance and as politicians. But send them kind, a chunk of the work, lies with the citizens ourselves. So yeah, we refuse to engage in some corrupt practices. Every boy, and then free SHS as a school placement, a place here, Kwabena to Konongo Dumasi Secondary School. No, now Obi, a Wofuaba, or friend MP, or friend minister, or friend we say, hey, me baby, I'm going to go to MP, no, or all of these things breeds corruption. Despite the fact that the government is putting in place measures, free computer placement, digital, can you know, one also apply now phone and now you apply and you get that.
A bit more can say, I didn't know the panel say a fairly per 1,000. Near many per 10 million. I could apply. Nanti Sankebe Yanka and Ka Yenusaka Crabin ever fan. I didn't know. We know we top watch our bed. 100 Ghana cedis. Of course, so if the party funny we are no one to knock on the ideas or dear. Now, the party and fan of Quahoto says she will not have far. That's what the baby doing on
me. Macase, sir, voucher now, a toma, Obia or person besum on my own. I will say, ye free. But as for the application, I will see a BMO Obia apply because I also funny per 10,000. Now, call limited to only 10,000 people. Then you are denying the others the opportunity to be employed. Yeah. So that's it. Until BMU will be apply, but based on your qualification, based on your strength, based on the police for no and immigration for no requirement. Not only recruit to their omope. But for me, people should not be made to pay for some of these services. It doesn't really help. Yeah. It doesn't really help. And I'm advocating for it. Government must consider scrapping that process. Okay. So that's it. Now you free.
Me that's it. Rampedu. Yes. You share a CD for some of the buy ya.
Rampedu the neck is a free me ho and
Rampedu free me ho.
Okay.
See a chafa. Oh, free me so free me.
Now I know that your money come review.
NPT has a money didn't na correct.
See the first of the bay. So far we shall bay and to fight corruption. Because you to me I said who on us all can reports about Bontia. Sika nyunuko gu ankwankwa bi botomu no. Ebi o hana no hye dodo. Eti siasi ya ko ade na ebetumi akono ahoden so. Na ade no so ne yate na che. Papa. Enti ne kono be den pa. Na mo ade ba kwa na mo tu ba ku benum yesa bi wa betumi ache sase masi de. Wo de fa na bobo ano a. Enya de before mwadi. CD the first one 62%. Who say is that the true reflection of what is on the ground? So now say before for some which.
Well, me that was say Jacob. I say for me, BB were actually the sense say sample size the research na isa. So omo enhance no yen kese a ke be hu say nipa bebre any confidence e wa ban mu say obetimi fight corruption. Now when issues of corruption I know it's so critical because also mind puntu or mind cost or mind yidie nyina gina say there's integrity, honesty, selflessness, say nipa wo opepa akumapa any perpere ye ewe yade mu eti corruption nya de say etimi cherish na say for me no say you can corruption sama na the arehobi abetu because we share o my Ghana na me hwe se na Nyankopon ahira ewo ade nyina mu a na yeda so tip tibia yewo mu yade o how hia bubro ne o how mu na areho enti obi a eba aban mu a wo hwa eho na omo edi ekosi se me ba meye wei ne my wei ne me to corruption ase in fact wo hwa aban wei a wo so yi nienti adipa be brave to man no pa 2016 senior what the corruption see ho kan ho asem gina yesese me ba mu a nya meye metu ase eni enti I can say with confidence say do not vote to my ban because of senior bosha wo share say man sa kwan na obeti be too corruption. Yes, it's true. Senior honorable akan banu ba ye no wo de niam bebre sisi ho senior be ya institutions are fighting corruption o betimi aye empower no betimi corruption but then say uma all these powers na opepa no the political will no ni ho still corruption fighting na akoyi bi ho because say wo hwe niam ahodo a ben kan fa NDCs for ho ansa no buy say omo ba they will make them to account ne NDC TV kasa say I dare you say o say pa say ya fami court na di bet me can we with confidence na ban sisi wo hwe no won tumi enye ho hwe a na ma reho say then nia wo kan ya ansa na vote ma wo ni just say na da bi so it is a nipa ka say you need confidence wa ban mu so bet ma fight corruption no kwa say e wo mu so ye bibi but there is clear evidence say ban opepa no wo ho say obetumi a fight na wo hwe corruption so ase na yetin se na honorable kan endemic just right from our roots ahemfo free ahini ye na na ahemfo for so kowura messenger fo mu kowura bibia mu wo Ghana de corruption no ewura ho nyina enti say can fight against corruption na who do fan call see aban ko aso say aban ko betima fight corruption enu de o kan say ya tro because your money nyina na esi yetibi egitum say this is a canker wey enedi ye call achi when edi or how we hear more assessor abaya kwan mu okwan be ne fa so yetimi etu ase enti say eye obia dadwene say say yetu sa project kankan ne kitasi she ase
owura matena meduka sembi wo bra ye ni say special prosecutor no kwasem ni na obia susu say obetumi aye adwuma fa ko wi ase no ono so de nsemi ba bonten kire say na akade ohia no ne nsentumi nka ane ye man kwan so free hands to operate said ye wo kase say opepa ni ho a ebe den de amaye ebinum kase people like owura Domolevo enka ne auditor general oyobia pepe was in pain enti se yapese akutia katashe ne proya say ni peti sa no ense say ye mo moko even though so we didn't the retirement age kra na you bet man contract ama na ye bia kan say de be ya answer on be fi okra akọ no ni ya hwehwe motumi nya obi obedi na chi a so no fi ma no nto afoforo na ba owura Domolevo wono so ye yi ni free what is sane man kete na chesa be etumi nko enti katashe ne proya na owura jabin dia be
Salon say ti say opepa no ho a meji say ajabe betima bon homodin but no homodin abobo no ejina the support aban betimi da tanachi ansa na ne obetimi betimi aye enye sa ajabe ho enime bia esa aban ti tu hu anamon because aban yemi say attorney general ne esena mu persecute nsema onu betimi aye na emomu say wa asem ekodu one senior MP kan wo contact MP or minister are now related to president and now vice president. Need someone to say, oh, wait, because at some crazy say police station. Yakochi obi kra say bia ebia report bill. Now or hina phantom akese ko police station so wait there.
Asema okay, owura pedo asema okay, ni bresa bi esi wo atoy mantem a ba next week amusan baba bonten. Abrantie bi a ono emaya eno no omoda 16, 17, 14, 15, 16, 17. You no video. You no video. Or you no video on our social media. Abaya ba ko ge na ajuka so be ko hye no akonfo akunu ho. Asam no omo ye no kokwansa. Eso mo kra asam no so obo so mkum case no. Na sa case ne de eye prestia na ewo. Enti se o awuta akire no. Se wadwene ne se bewu a enyanwi ye be hwanya mu pa. Sa emaya ketenkete na brantie no. Afa no a ofo a ayo video a wadwene maso say bi o video enye woni ba ho so no
enye bodam semo
na say obi akwada ne da chi nyina ya basa na bi so family fi ura mitie wa
etimesi aka so say corruption say be so critical say no they say wetin be sa kwan CDD but kwa say CDD na kasa no ono so oni sinto eka Ghana eka corruption I'm just say who narrow the whole thing say be aban kwa ana so one more politics and they corrupter aya ne technocrats ne wo civil service ne public service ko assemblies ahodo kohwe you can't corruption, assemblies, planning officer, technical officer, finance officer. Just sikaki to every quarter. Wow, and you be a aha says sikaya, with my contract. Ya hey, and me menya wumu. This just in Chenya no, and no ye obu the chance, a juma potia. Ya da show musa say obunye. No, my mu. Na say unye nipa obu ho ahofama. Wamu do o man say ye die. Na jichedie ni nia adwuma bi proposition ni obi benya ni ebe ko bottom e ne hia no just say na wo de ayakasisem bi na obi your mind pa o mind yankopon share se Ghana na ye da so tie TBA mu a na ye arehuo enti corruption no ye betima ka perception pa de for me e gi say no kwase mehwe ni anana ado kae ni power e de man no ne yebubi ye hwese nka oba ya NDC fo a o se wo mu kitasihye afa mu no mu no nka ne ye hwese sam radio na say Mahama ne communication director it be there Akufo Addo say mosi me ye corruptor mo fa corruptor e me wira ho
just to add say you see a lot of the practices na e no so for instance baby I'm as public accounts committee is you realize and concern o share emra no to me e dey share yensa ours is not to prosecute I mean yeah the auditor general here in a report or the aba or say institution ABCD sika say na ankoye yeah dey say okay o say osimesi or the second board aban sika say sika no we so but empem bebre no wanted to say public accounts are fair ope na otumrika wakotu SS sika no so and you see we share the Financial Management Act now into a lot of the cases no be create this car are buying the first option of paying the money into government so until I say I understand say public accounts is not biting and all of that ours is to protect the public purse and to ensure say so be this scanner says scanner and a lot of the time no that is what happens but
you to me I'm to be jizika
yes instantly I mean I was in Sunyani over the weekend Sunyani me ye na ye kire also onya kono headmaster bitimi ba also nipa no retire also retire ma chesi no also dey be en chesi no near more 1 week go and pay the money back into the consolidated after 1 week if you don't do that it is contempt because we have the powers of a high court so that's here so after 1 week the auditors will ensure they will now come back and tell us instruction at the you know the people have paid receipt in here ne ya generate their share report so a lot of these things do not come to the public domain that's why people will say but the American say I thought that you can't say corruption because of our we limit it to the MPP and the NDC that is a problem but a lot of the issues you know is with the civil servants no
yeah
because you see me minister na me kotena ho I act on the advice of the civil servant in fact they are my legs and to say oh a civil servant na opinion betina ho na o kire say sign check bi mame and I see you release this car we yengese na ukoya you also must be punished and I think say we gradually must move to that angle say our focus should not be on the politician but rather on anybody who aided in that corrupt practice.
And honorable Munyamra, a bit I empower Sanima we now collect a focus. More money is focus. So I don't think
I agree. Into no consistently, no, over a period of time, no, and that's how come laws come. Into no, Oshia, I mean, bra, Penifort decided my main when they were public accounts committee chairman in Yamano. A lot of the changes are it was based on the recommendations. In most of government agencies, they don't pay physical cash. You need to be on the government system before they can pay you. Internet, ubin to me in Makoto special eyes way into me wabeja buying sika debi. They gradually the payment system in government is changing. Internet can't say when you introduce digitalization in especially in financial matters now, it cuts down heavily on corruption.
And it's true.
So we should focus on institutions. I am against trying to say Machiwe, Yenjelin. Yes, we made a lot of promises. But the institutions we are putting in place, the strategies, digitalization, special prosecutor's office, government making sure say or born in Crawford in Akoko, say mamu engage in corrupt practices. No, those are the issues that we need to be looking at. And you know say CDD reports any of a kind. Yes, omo but it is all perception. But government must also trumpet what they are doing to ensure. And I blame myself, say, as a member of the public account, a lot of the things we do, it is not out in the domain. Nkofo say ye kotena wa keke na gese nkofo be pie
me share to so and do baby ba ku bi me share ye ma na me bu fu prekope yes me to say second wedi obi so say I'm sorry.
No, I mean ebisu wa ha for instance case bi ba ku bi e ba ye say na cocoa farmers na abayama omuska say omofankosi omodan ne in a contract I think was signed in 2005. Repeatedly, it's been repeating itself in the reports. So we decided to say, these are poor cocoa farmers. You give them money to go and build properties. For so many years, OSHA contract there was no clause to say by this date, pay the money. So let's just brush it off and let's make sure it doesn't happen again. No. Then Nipana institutional or in charge. You tell him, say, next time, if you are giving money to a cocoa farmer, ensure, say, in the contract, you state payment terms, specific times, any name, so that in their next contract, you realize, say, you're more specific. You don't give anybody the leeway to do that. Because sometimes, they also, and like I said, the civil servant, oh yeah, they're not so vague. Now, if you're not fetch, now, oh yeah, also way, I buy sika, as I'm money,
because the politicians, civil servants, you can say in quotes, chrono, bono, so far, so intino. I want some kind of minister because baby.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, what dimpuana. Or say, I just want to down we. I'm saying, na e ya Benjamin Kobi Senate omo e na I rent am offices no ana so nim sa dan yesi we e ya a civil servant bi dia na wato o dia rent Senate na waye ne se bebi a oye na adwuma no bebi oye adwuma no o mu akonta bebi ono ye pani na owo no akontabo papa bi an koso wo ho enti sonya 10 Ghana cedis a obetu aka sonya obenya 50 pesos ena waya na odi esi sada ena wodi rent abayadwuma etu de hwew we wi o man sika yen ka ne sa ena odi esi dan asan de high on mine
double benefit.
Yes.
But until I make say
eti ya civil servant na samu na sanka mu ne wo nyina hwi momo ma montafo mo samu
I doubt it. Okay. For somebody to rise to the status of a minister, it comes with a lot of integrity. And you see the kind of work as a member of parliament, you say okay, be kitu be pena when you make what you know onya wo pena we go no ase obegu yire no ase obusuafo obi no ase. So sometimes o constituency just say untimi kran ko yiye kwa ukra no aka say ko yiye because when you make what. So my point is that everybody is careful how it relates. But the weakness in the institutions allow some of these corrupt practices to go on. The weakness in the institutions. So for instance, and I'm say it's evolving as we pass laws making sure we try and plug the holes now amount for taking advantage of For instance, in the UK, you cannot just say me buy my fan is on my store. No. Because they have correct addressing system, they have correct tracking system. Obi kodi bonia, they have a way of doing it. Enti untumi nko na unchire UK officials say, oh we there we need gusuma because when him say or ye kwen na be ye turn the record super forever and ever than the record so.
Okay, OPK, me da say. You work Sampadu?
Yes sir.
That's what it.
Yes sir. Yes sir. MP ni especially finance committee for no say you corruption fighter all in fact say e hwe omo mo bo modern but mo for some punitive measures be nhemu a no so ebe ma man hu say ye kun kutasihye enye say ka ho asem keke anasi ye project nipa o me corrupt keke ni say nipa hu sa ombe suru kakra because I say mama nye bi nche me pension me cause so asa ye ntumi nya me hwe the nipa suru corruption
of late kwa dey ba kwa ni say so wo pension na say bi obi wa so so o pension okay go to SNIT make sure say SNIT dey almost abeto ne sika so until the person pays the money so all these directives we are giving them to ensure but like I said I was here to me bohun the road now
wonya nintam we dey besra mo say ya fidie no du ba bi na twetwa sisi en ma no ko ye say ya bre na ye nyan no ankonko ye bebre kakra na so ye say kodwoketo ahoyi o ye che kodwokrakra enti kakra ne ye nyan die no so say eye enti ye beda onunyafo Davis Opoku ansa adura frɛ no edi ne ansa ho no Opoku ansa OPK impression machine bedwani ye beda na papa and afi Dr. Chris Ampedu a senior lecturer of Pentecost University ono se beda na se pii se onya breba ye and afi me amenu kuma kwesi kwati ono no kasama asoye hwe ho nsem so ebru onya formation se so be si so afa be de echi na nan no na bre no ko na so no be ye obedu ha no me kan bobo mu sama ma o career kan so me kan bia for that enya mo akura say ato no so bia me ametia no o akotena obutu enche enti ye bana masipi se wunya breba kiri wa mo wa chirichi mu fide ma me edibedi akon prince obimpe na fe ba hampo bio na ho Richie Dani Randy ene wo ma kan nyina ne ahofe ene wo maka nyina da mu nyina asemidin e de Agya Kwabena betena mu e ma Efia Poku a the film lady ye wa ya doma ye besan ye hye da mu nyina ase e ma mo ne hwe